Okay, I wanted to come outside today and do a little work. Um, we're going to do a little scene with a possum and a skunk. And I've got a little figure here that I cut out. This is going to be the possum. And he's about 3 inches by one and let's see, a little quarter, 3/8, 1 3/8 by about 2 inches, 2 1/4. Okay, and we're going to carve this little figure. This is a little possum. We've never carved that before. We've never done anything like this before. And I think this would be a nice little project to do. Now, let me get a pencil, because a carver has got to have a good pencil. And I'm going to move this just a little bit. Let me look and see how we're doing. Good. Okay. Okay. Now the tail kind of comes up this far of the possum. And a possum is sort of a, we're going to start on the tail first. We're just going to kind of bring that back a little. Possum is a pretty nasty animal, hate to say it. He really is. They're a lot like a armadillo or something like that. No, an armadillo is not nasty, but a possum's pretty nasty. They eat a lot of things that are not clean stuff. I remember one time there was a dead cow, and a friend of mine kicked the cow in the stomach, and a bunch of possums, baby possums and a mama, ran out of the stomach of the cow. So they were in that stomach of the cow. So you see how nasty they are. So I don't know. I just remember that so well. Okay, we're doing the tail here. We're just, because I like the tail to be sort of the center point. We can go ahead and draw a center point if you want to. Center point of this, in other words. So we're bringing the tail down. I'm using one of the knives that I made. A knife that I made with an OCCT blade on it, which is basically, the OCCT blades used to be called Denny knives. They're called OCCT tools now, and they're basically Denny knives, the Denny tools. If you have a Denny knife or a Denny, DENNY, if you have their thing, it's you know, that's what it is. Okay, a possum he's a pretty simple animal. He's not a very pretty animal. He's an ugly animal. There's not a whole lot of color to a possum. Not like a raccoon or whatever. Okay, we're going to just sort of bring this up in here. They're not like a raccoon or something like that. A raccoon's sort of a pretty animal the way it looks. But a possum doesn't have beauty. They're not pretty. They're really ugly animals. So have a snout that just sort of goes down, and the key to this possum is the way he sits on a little rock, kind of like this, in other words, or a little stump or whatever it is, like that. And I don't know if you're not aware of opossums. We have a lot of possums down here in Texas where I'm at. And let me explain something to you. These little fellas can really get onto you. I mean, they have teeth, and they when you corner them, buddy, they will hiss at you. And I'm talking about they'll show those teeth and let you know that they don't want you messing with them. They're very they'll get into dog food, things like that. Possums will. They'll get into a lot of things. They'll go into yards and things like that. Now, what we want to do is come down here, and we want to kind of just easily, surely get these feet separated. And they're real plentiful down in this area. And a lot of times you'll see it at night. A lot of people run over them. You'll see them crossing the road at night or something like that, in other words. And next day you'll see them on the side of the road. You know, somebody's run over them or something like that. It's very much like a raccoon. They come out at night mostly. Now, we want this area of the possum. They come down, okay? They do come down. Just sort of comes down to almost like a point. Like that. Well, that's going to come down a lot more, but I'm saying it comes down to a point where they have a very thin snout. They have a very, very thin snout, and okay. Let's go ahead and let's also these are, of course, his ears and everything like that. Okay. And let's go ahead and just kind of bring that all this tail, everything like that has to come down. The tail is very, very thin on a possum. Very thin. Now you might hear a little noise, cars coming by and stuff like that. I'm in my garage, so don't let that bother you. Okay. Let's go ahead and now let's go ahead and bring this up just a little bit in here, because that's going to sort of come up like that. Okay, we're just basically shaping this possum. He's like I said, he's like a coon in a lot of ways. He's very much similar to a coon, but a coon is a much more clean animal. Like I said, a coon is really a very, very clean animal. He cleans his food before he eats it. He washes it and all that other stuff. So he's very, very clean, and a possum is not. He's very, very dirty and filthy, and or what the possums down here in Texas are. They're not what you call they're basically trash. Okay, possums are basically trash, and of course everybody became familiar with the word possum when the Beverly Hillbillies were on, and Jed and Granny used to talk about baked possum, and where I guess they did eat it at that time. They fixed a possum. I just, after seeing those possums coming out of that dead cow that time, I don't it would just blow my mind to think that anyone would eat such a thing. But you know, people do. Okay, my time's about up. We're gonna come back and we're gonna continue this possum. Of course, all this has to come down, you know. All that. Okay.